Hello, students. I hope you all are doing good. So, today we are going to discuss alternating current NCRT example. So, this is the disclaimer. After this lecture, you will be able to understand the behavior of AC circuits and calculation of RMS values, peak values, and phase relationship between voltage and current. Calculate impedance, reactance, and power in AC circuits, including how these quantities vary with frequency and how they determine circuit behavior. So let's begin with first question, NCRT example 7.1. So question is, if the RMS current in a 50 hertz AC circuit, so frequency is given in the question, in 5 ampere is 5 ampere, the value of current 1 by 300 second after its value becomes 0. So options are, so RMS value of current is given in a circuit, AC circuit having frequency 50 hertz, and circuit is carrying current 5 ampere. That is RMS value of current. So value of current after 1 by 300 seconds, after its value become 0. So options are 5 by root 2 ampere, 5 by 5 into root 3 by root 2 ampere, 5 by 6 ampere, 5 upon root 2 ampere. Okay, so I will give you some time to solve it. Let's see the solution. Okay, so correct option is B, 5 into root 3 upon root 2 ampere. So what is given in the question? Frequency is given 50 hertz. RMS value of current is given 5 ampere, and the relation between peak value of current IM and RMS value is given by IM equal to root 2 IRMS according to NCRT question 7.6. Okay, this is the relation between peak value and RMS value. Okay, either it can be current, either it can be voltage. So IM is equal to root 2 into IRMS, which is equal to root 2 into 5. So IRMS is given. So maximum value of current will be 5 into root 2 ampere. So this is the maximum value of current. Since current is AC, expression of current can be given by I equal to Im sin omega t. Okay, so you have to find the current after current at 1 by 300 second after its value becomes 0. So at some instant value of current will be 0. After 1 by 300 seconds, what will be the value of current? You have to find that. The expression for instantaneous current. So you have to find the current at some instant. So expression for instantaneous current is I equal to Im sin omega t. That's why we have calculated Im. Okay, so Im is 5 into root 2 ampere and I is equal to Im sin omega t according to NCRT question 7.2. So I equal to Im sin omega t. So let time t equal to 0, current is 0. Okay, so sine graph starts from 0. So at time equal to 0, put t equal to 0 in this equation. So sine omega into 0. So sine 0 is equal to 0. So at time equal to 0, current is 0, which is satisfied by the equation. Okay, then we have to find the current at time 1 by 300. So after the value becomes 0. So current value is 0 at 0 time. So after 0 value, means what is asked? The value of current 1 by 300 seconds after its value becomes 0. So means firstly current value is 0. So after 0 value, where 0 value is reached, after that time, how much time? 1 by 300 seconds. We have to find the current in the circuit. Okay. So then we have to find the current at time t equal to 1 by 300 seconds. Okay. If 0 is being reached at some another point, okay, let's suppose it is current is not 0 at t equal to 0. Okay. Then we have to find at what time current is 0. And after that time, add 1 by 300 seconds to that time. Okay. So about after that cumulative time, current have to be found. But at t equal to 0, current is 0. That's why. So t equal to at t equal to 1 by 300 seconds, we are going to find the current. So I equal to Im sin omega t, which is equal to 5 root 2 sine, what is omega? 2 pi nu t. Nu is given in the question, 50 hertz. T is, we have t is 1 by 300 seconds, at which we have to find the current, and 5 by root 2 is 5 into root 2 is maximum current we have calculated. So I equal to 5 root 2 sine 2 pi into 50 into 1 by 300. Okay, after solving it, it will come out to be I equal to 5 root 2 sine pi by 3. What is sine pi by 3? Pi by 3 is 60 degree. What is sine 60 degree? Root 3 by 2. Okay, so put the value of sine pi by 3, or we can say sine 60 degree. So Im is equal to 5 root 2 into sine pi by 3 is equal to root 2 upon 3. Root 3 upon 2. So 5 root 2 into root 3 upon 2, and in the numerator it is root 2 and denominator it is 2. So in denominator we can write root 2 into root 2. 1 root 2 in denominator will cancel out with root 2 in numerator. So it will become 5 into root 3 upon root 2. So I will be equal to 5 root 3 upon 2 ampere. So this is the final answer, and it is B option. Okay, so only option B is correct. Other options are wrong. Now, next question. When a voltage measuring device is connected to AC mains, the meter shows the steady input voltage of 220 volt. This means, so a voltmeter, a voltage measuring device is called voltmeter. Okay, is connected to AC mains, and this meter is showing the steady input voltage of 220 volt. This means, so options are A option, input voltage cannot be AC voltage but a DC voltage, or B, maximum input voltage is 220 volt, or the meter reads not V but V square average and is calibrated to read V square average root. Okay, so what is this? This is mean square. This is mean square value. So meter is reading the mean square value, not V. It is reading mean square value, and it is calibrated to read the root mean square value. C option is saying that meter we are using it not measuring V but measuring mean square value, and it is calibrated to read root mean square value. The pointer of the meter is stuck by some mechanical defect, or it can be the case that pointer of the meter is stuck by some mechanical defect. Okay, if meter is showing steady input, what can be the possibilities? Meter is reading steady current, or meter is reading RMS current, but meter is connected to AC mains. It is mentioned in the question, so it is not DC voltage. So what can be the option? So I will give you some time to think about it. So let's see the solution. So what is the thinking process for this question? AC ammeters and voltmeters are calibrated to read RMS value. I have mentioned in the uh, theory section also that there are, for measuring the AC voltage or AC current, there are special AC ammeters and voltmeters that are calibrated to read RMS value. So if voltmeter is uh, showing some steady value of voltage and it is connected to AC means it is showing its RMS value. Okay, so it works on the principle of hot wire. It is called hot wire ammeters and voltmeters. They are working on the principle of heat dissipated, power dissipated. Okay, what is the definition of RMS value? It is the equivalent DC amount. It is equivalent to DC current, which is producing same average power loss as AC current in the one complete cycle. So it is working on the principle of power dissipation in one cycle. Okay, so they are calibrated to read the RMS value. So the voltmeter connected to AC mains reads the root mean square value of the voltage. So if voltmeter shows 220 volt, then it is the root mean square value of the voltage. Then from the relation Vm equal to root 2 Vrms, which is root 2 into what is Vrms? It is reading 220 volt. So maximum value of voltage in the circuit is 311 volt. Okay, hence peak value of input voltage should be 311 volt. So A option, input voltage cannot be AC voltage but a DC, this is incorrect because it is mentioned in the question that it is connected to AC means. So this is incorrect as question say it is connected to AC means. B option, maximum input voltage is 220. It is also wrong because maximum input voltage we have calculated it is 311 volt. Also, D option, the pointer of the meter is stuck by some mechanical defect. It is also incorrect. A stuck pointer would not provide a reliable or steady reading. The steady reading of 220 volt indicates that the meter is functioning correctly and measuring the RMS value of AC voltage. Okay, if pointer is stuck, it is not mentioning that it is not providing the reliable or any steady reading. It is not providing accurate reading. So it is also wrong option. So what is correct option? C. That it is calibrated that this voltmeter, this voltage measuring device, which is measuring the AC means, is calibrated to read the RMS value of voltage. Okay. So next question, to reduce the resonant frequency in an LCR circuit with a generator. Options are the generator frequency should be reduced. So to reduce the resonant frequency is omega naught equal to 1 by root LC. Okay, so to reduce the resonant frequency in LCR circuit with a generator. So the option are the generator frequency should be reduced, another capacitor should be added in parallel to the first, or the iron core of the inductor should be removed, or the dielectric in the capacitor should be removed. So I will give you some time to think about it. Let's see the solution. So B option is correct. Another capacitor should be added in parallel to the first. So resonant frequency in an LCR circuit is given by omega naught equal to 1 by root LC. So to reduce the resonant frequency, what we have to do? We have to either increase the L inductance of the inductor, or either we have to increase the capacitance. Okay, how we can increase it? So if we are removing the dielectric from the capacitance, then capacitance will decrease and it will increase the frequency. So that option is incorrect. Also, if we are removing some core from the inductor, it will decrease its inductance, due to which resonant frequency will increase. It also not matching with the what is asked in the question. Okay, so that option is also incorrect. Reducing the generator frequency, it is not valid option. But if we are connecting another capacitor to the existing capacitor in parallel, so capacitors in parallel, we know that equivalent capacitance is given by algebraic sum of capacitance of both the capacitor. So capacitance will be increased if we are attaching another capacitor in parallel to the first. So in this case, capacitance will increase and we can reduce the resonant frequency. So NCERT question 7.28. So now to reduce omega naught, we can increase either L or C. So equivalent capacitance C equivalent in parallel combination is given by C equivalent equal to C1 plus C2. So it is algebraic sum. So if we are connecting any capacitor in parallel, so it will increase its, so capacitance of the combination will increase. This means equivalent capacitance in parallel combination increases as compared to the single capacitor. So to reduce the resonant frequency, we can add another capacitor in parallel combination. Okay. So why options A, C and D are incorrect? So the generator frequency should be reduced. This is incorrect because reducing the generator frequency does not affect the resonant frequency of the circuit. So to reduce the resonant frequency, what we have to do, we have to change the inductance and capacitance in the circuit. If we are reducing the generator frequency, it will not affect the resonant frequency of the circuit because resonant frequency only depends on the inductance and capacitance. This is because resonant frequency is omega naught equal to 1 by root LC is determined by the values of inductor and capacitor C, not the generator frequency. C option, the iron core of the inductor should be removed. This is also incorrect because if we are removing the iron core, then inductance will decrease and frequency will increase. So removing the iron core of the inductor would decrease the inductance L. This will actually increase the resonant frequency as it is inversely proportional to inductance. Okay. Similarly, in D option, dielectric in the capacitor should be removed. This is incorrect. Why? Because if we are removing dielectric, then capacitance with dielectric is given by K A epsilon naught by D. If we are removing the dielectric, this K will become 1. Okay, for any other material, for any other dielectric, this K is greater than 1. So if we are removing the dielectric, this K will become equal to 1, which is for air. Okay, so in this case, capacitance is decreasing when we are removing dielectric. So due to which resonant frequency will increase. So this is also incorrect option. So capacitance C of parallel plates separated by a distance D filled with the material dielectric constant K is given by C equal to K A epsilon naught upon D, where A is the area of plates and K is greater than equal to 1. For vacuum, it is 1. Removing the dielectric in the capacitor would decrease the capacitance C, which will increase the resonant frequency rather than reducing it. Got it? Now, next question. An inductor of reactance 1 ohm and a resistor 2 ohm are connected in series of the terminal of 6 volt RMS value is given. Okay, so it is RL circuit. An inductor and a resistor is connected. A resistor of 2 ohm and inductor of 1 ohm. Of inductance 1 ohm, a reactance 1 ohm. Okay, and they are in series and AC power source is connected across this series circuit, and the RMS value of voltage for this AC source is 6 volt. The power dissipated in the circuit is, options are 8 watt, 12 watt, 14.4 watt and 18 watt. Okay, so power in LCR circuit, we know the formula. So apply it and I will give you some time to solve it. So option C is correct. What is given in the question? XL is given equal to 1 ohm and R is given 2 ohm. Okay, VRMS is given 6 volt. So what we have to find? Average power dissipated in the series RL circuit. Capacitor is not there, so this is RL circuit, and it is power average is given by P equal to VRMS IRMS cos phi. Okay, NCRT equation 7.30a. Now cos phi is equal to R upon Z. Okay, Z is equal to root R square plus XC minus XL square. XC is not there, capacitor is not there, so XC will be 0. So it will be minus XL square, means XL square. Okay, XL is given, R is given, we can find the impedance, we can find the cos phi, VRMS is given, and we can also find the IRMS. By IRMS equal to VRMS upon Z. Okay, by this we can find the average power. So now phase difference cos phi is given by cos phi equal to R upon Z from impedance diagram. So this is the important relation of power factor with resistance and impedance. So first we need to find the impedance Z. So Z is equal to root R square plus XC minus XL square according to NCRT equation 7.26. Okay, so XC here is 0 because capacitor is not there. So the expression will reduce to, so calculating Z is equal to, now expression will reduce to root R square plus XL square because XC is not there, XC is equal to 0. Given R equal to 2 ohm and XL equal to 1 ohm, putting these values, Z will become 2 square 4 and 1 square 1. So root 4 plus 1, root 5. So Z is root 5 ohm. Now cos phi will be equal to R upon Z. R is 2 ohm, Z is root 5. So cos phi is equal to 2 upon root 5. Now we can find the RMS, IRMS. So IRMS will be equal to, so using the relation of VRMS and IRMS is equal to VRMS upon Z according to NCRT equation 7.25b. Now we have calculated a Z. VRMS is given in the question. So putting Z equal to root 5 ohm and VRMS equal to 6 volt. So IRMS will be equal to 6 upon root 5 ampere. Now we know what is, we have calculated IRMS, we have calculated cos phi, VRMS is given in the question. Now we can find the average power dissipated in the circuit. Okay, so calculation of average power, putting IRMS equal to 6 upon root 5, VRMS equal to 6, cos phi equal to 2 by root 5 in P average equal to VRMS IRMS cos phi. So P average will be equal to 6 into 6 upon root 5 into 2 upon root 5. So it will become 72 upon root 5 into root 5, which is equal to 72 upon 5. So P average will be equal to 14.4 watt. So C option is correct. Okay, only option C is correct. Now next question. The output of a step down transformer is measured to be 24 volt. Okay, we know that what is the formula for transformer, relation between number of turns and IRMS current and VRMS current, VRMS voltage. Okay, so ratio Vs upon Vp is equal to Ns upon Np, which is equal to Ip upon Is. Okay, number of turns have direct relation. They are directly proportional to voltage across the coils or loop or solenoids or coils. Okay, in simple words. Okay, but number of turns have inverse relation with the current flowing through the coils. Okay, so output of a step down transformer. Step down transformer means it is decreasing the voltage. Is measured to be 24 volt. So what is this 24 volt? Vs when compared to 12 watt light bulb. The value of the peak current is, so you have to find the Im. Okay, so options are 1 by root 2 ampere, root 2 ampere, 2 ampere, 2 into root 2 ampere. Okay, output voltage is given, and with this output voltage we are operating a 12 watt light bulb. So what is the peak current flowing through that light bulb. You have to calculate. So I will give you some time to think about it. So A option is correct, which is 1 upon root 2 ampere. Given secondary voltage Vs RMS equal to 24 volt. Okay. So I'm very glad that some of you are solving it with me or before me. So if you are not able to solve, then I am explaining the solution also. But meanwhile, you should solve it by yourself. Given secondary voltage Vs RMS. So it is RMS value. It is not mentioned in the question that either it is peak value or RMS value. So by default, it is taken as VRMS. So Vs RMS. Vs means this is the voltage across secondary coil because we are taking output, the output of step down transformer. So output is taken across secondary coil. So Vs RMS is 24 volt. Power associated with secondary coil PS. So power associated with the secondary coil on which light bulb is being operated is PS equal to 12 watt. Average power P is given by P equal to IRMS VRMS cos phi according to NCERT question 7.7. For pure resistive circuit, cos phi is, so we are operating light bulb by the output generated in the secondary coil. Okay, so only resistor is there. Okay, secondary coil is a part of transformer, not a part of circuit. So voltage is being generated across the secondary coil. So it is taken as source now. We are only operating light bulb, not any other component. Secondary coil is part of transformer, which is used to step down the voltage. So voltage across the secondary coil is 24 volt and only light bulb is connected across the secondary coil. So across the light bulb, what is the VRMS? Vs RMS 24 volt. What is the power, rated power of light bulb? So power associated with the secondary coil is same as the power at which light bulb is being operated, that is 12 watt. So what is the average, what is the expression for average power? VRMS IRMS cos phi. Since only resistor, only light bulb is there, which is considered as resistor. So for pure resistive circuit, cos phi equal to cos 0 degree. For pure resistive circuit, phi is equal to 0. Okay, phase difference between voltage and current is 0. So cos 0 degree is 1. So P average will become, or we can say PS will become equal to IS RMS VS RMS. PS is power associated with the secondary coil or rated power of the light bulb, which is equal to IS RMS, that is RMS current through the secondary coil, or VS RMS is secondary voltage. Okay, so VS RMS we know that, PS we also know 12 volt. Can we calculate IS RMS? We have to calculate the peak current. So firstly we will calculate the IS RMS, then we will calculate the IM. Then RMS current through the secondary coil will be equal to IS RMS equal to PS upon VS RMS, which is equal to 12 upon 24. Okay, so IS RMS will be equal to, so current flowing through the secondary coil and hence current flowing through the light bulb, because only light bulb is connected across secondary coil. So current flowing through secondary coil will be half ampere, or current flowing through the light bulb will be half ampere. So peak value of the current we can calculate now. So peak value of the current in the secondary coil will be IM equal to IS RMS into root 2. So Im will be equal to, what is Is RMS? We have calculated half ampere into root 2. So Im will be equal to 1 upon root 2 ampere. Okay. So only option A is correct. Got it? Now, multiple choice questions are there, means this is second type of multiple choice questions. More than one options are correct. Okay. Questions. What is the question? As the frequency of an AC circuit increases, the current first increases and then decreases. What combination of circuit elements is most likely to comprise the circuit? Okay. So this is based on the resonant frequency topic. I have mentioned, I have given you an idea, so you can think in that way, that when we increase the frequency in AC circuit, the current first increases, then decreases. So that type of graph you may have seen in the resonant frequency or resonance topic. That type of graph in which current is first increasing at particular frequency, resonant frequency, it is maximum and then it is decreasing. So what combination of circuit elements is most likely to comprise the circuit? We have discussed in that topic also that what components among resistance, inductor or capacitor is compulsory, is necessary to comprise the circuit. Options are inductor and capacitor, resistor and inductor, resistor and capacitor, resistor, inductor and capacitor. So out of these four options, which options are correct? Means more than one option can be correct. Okay. So I will give you some time to think about it. So these lectures are available on the Sathi website or your Sathi app on daily basis. You can watch this lecture after when it is being uploaded on this particular schedule. So more than one options can be correct. So let's see the solution. So answer A and D, both options are correct. Okay. So what is the thinking process for this question? Here we are talking about peak current. Expression of Im in series LCR circuit is given by Im equal to Vm upon Z. NCERT equation 7.25b. Okay, we can decide the elements comprising the given circuit by predicting the variation in their reactance with frequency. Okay, so initially what we have to do, so what is when there is resonance condition, what components are necessary in the circuit for resonance condition? What is the condition of resonance when Xc become equal to XL? Okay, if capacitor or inductor, out of these two components one is missing, resonance condition cannot be achieved. Okay, so these both components are compulsory. Resistor is not compulsory for resonance, but these two components are necessary, inductor and capacitance. Okay, so here we are talking about peak current. We can decide the elements comprising the given circuit by predicting the variation in their reactances with frequency. Presence of both inductor and capacitor is in circuit is necessary, because resonance condition is what? When Xc become equal to XL, when inductive reactance become equal to capacitive reactance. If one of these components will be missing in the circuit, then resonance condition cannot be achieved. Okay. So for a LCR circuit, I am equal to Vm upon Z, where Z is equal to impedance of the circuit. Z is, we can represent expression for Z is equal to root R square plus Xc minus XL square. If one Xc or XL will be 0, means one component will be missing out of inductor or capacitor, then how we can achieve the minimum value of Z? There is no condition for minimum value of Z. So resonance condition will not achieve. Minimum value of Z equal to R is only possible when XC is equal to XL. Okay. So NCRT equation, according to NCRT equation 7.26, where XL and XC are opposition offered by the inductor and capacitor and given by XL equal to omega L and XC equal to 1 by omega C. Okay, impedance of the circuit is now given as Z equal to root R square plus 1 by omega C minus omega L whole square. So on increasing the frequency omega, XL increases and XC decreases. If we are increasing the frequency, it is asking the question as the frequency of the AC circuit increases. So if we are increasing the frequency, this XL will increase, XC will decrease. Okay. So variation of amplitude of current and frequency. This is the diagrammatic representation you can see. When we are increasing the frequency, frequency is represented on the x-axis. You can see. And the current value of current is expressed in the y-axis. So when we are increasing the frequency from 0, the current will increase. Okay. So Z is equal to root R square plus 1 by omega C minus omega L whole square. From the expression as frequency omega increases, Z decreases. Why? Because impact of XC is more. We have assumed that it is capacitive circuit. Means effect of dominance of XC is more. XC is more than XL initially. And when we start increasing the frequency, this XC will start decreasing and XL will start increasing. Because we are increasing the frequency, XL is omega L. XC is 1 by omega C. If we are increasing the frequency initially, this XC whole term will decrease and this omega L XL whole term will increase. And gap between XC and XL will decrease. Due to which Z will decrease. Okay. Initially, XL, this omega L is less than 1 by omega C. When we start increasing the frequency, this 1 by omega C will start decreasing and this omega will start increasing. Okay, and gap between both of them will decrease eventually, due to which this Z will decrease and current start increasing. At a particular frequency, both these XC and XL will come to an equal value, come to a same value. At this same value, XL will become equal to XC and this difference will become 0 and Z will become to R and resonance occurs and we will achieve maximum value of current. Okay. So from this expression as frequency omega increases, Z decreases first because impact of XC is more initially. Okay. At certain value of frequency known as resonant frequency omega naught, impedance Z is minimum. So when we increase the omega, XC will decrease, omega L will increase and they will come to an equal value. At this equal value, their difference will become 0 and Z is minimum. That is called Z minimum equal to resistance in the circuit. As a result, current first increases up to resonant frequency omega naught as shown in the figure. So current increases and reaches the maximum value at the resonant frequency. Now, after that, further we increase the value of omega. Then XC will further decrease and XL will further increase. Okay. Due to which difference between both of them start increasing again and Z will start increasing again. So then after the resonant frequency omega naught, impact of XL is now more because XL is increasing and 1 by omega C, that is XC, is decreasing now. So difference between both of them is now increasing again. So impact of XL is more. As a result, Z increases and current decreases. Okay, you will put values. You start putting values if you want to verify it, you can put the arbitrary values. Okay, you can do the iterations by putting different values, increasing value of omega. Okay, or take L and C, any fixed values. or you can see, you will come to this type of graph that is first increasing and decreasing. Then after this resonant frequency omega naught, impact of XL is more. As a result, Z increases and current decreases as shown in the figure 7.14. Okay. So now A option, inductor and capacitor. So both these components are necessary. Resistor is not necessary for the resonance condition. So this is correct because capacitor and inductor both are present. So that's why A option is correct. B option was resistor and inductor. This is wrong. Why? Because as told, presence of elements inductor and capacitor both are necessary for the resonance. Capacitor is missing here. Resistor and capacitor, again this is wrong because inductor is missing now. Okay. Resistor, inductor and capacitor. This is correct because both inductor and capacitor are present. So capacitor and inductor both are present. This is the case of LCR circuit. Okay. Next question. In an alternating current circuit consisting of elements in series, the current increases on increasing the frequency of supply. Which of the following elements are likely to constitute the circuit? So we are increasing the frequency of the supply and current start increasing. So which of the following elements are likely to constitute the circuit? Okay, concept is same again. If we are increasing the frequency, current is increasing, means Z is decreasing. Okay, why Z is decreasing? Z is equal to root R square plus XC minus XL square. If Z is decreasing on increasing frequency, so what are the possible elements that are present in the circuit? So options are only resistor, resistor and an inductor, resistor and a capacitor, or only a capacitor. So I will give you some time to think about it. So let's see the solution. So option C and D both are correct. According to the question, the current increases on increasing the frequency of the supply. Hence, the reactance of the circuit must be decreasing as frequency is increasing. Okay, so current is increasing on increasing frequency. That means reactance of the circuit, or we can say impedance of the circuit, must be decreasing. That's why current is increasing now. So reactance of the circuit must be decreasing and frequency is increasing. For a purely capacitive circuit, Z is equal to XC. For purely capacitive circuit, Z is equal to XC, and which is equal to 1 by omega C. On increasing the frequency, XC will decrease in a purely capacitive circuit, due to which current will increase. So this can be the case of purely capacitive circuit also. Okay, so clearly when frequency increases, XC decreases in the case of purely capacitive circuit. Hence option D, only a capacitor, is correct option. Okay, why now? Why C is correct? Let me see. For RC circuit, impedance is given by Z equal to root R square plus XC square. XC is 1 by omega C. On increasing the frequency, this XC will decrease, due to which Z will decrease and current will increase. Also for RC circuit, according to this relation, when frequency increases, Z decreases, and as a result, current should increase. Hence option C, resistor and a capacitor, is also correct. So both options C and D are correct. Okay. So why option A is incorrect? Only resistor. This is wrong because in a purely resistive circuit, resistance doesn't depend upon the frequency of the circuit. So current is independent of the frequency of the circuit. Resistance doesn't depend on frequency of the circuit. Also, current is independent of frequency of the circuit in the case of only resistor. Resistor and an inductor. This is also wrong because Z is equal to root R square plus omega L square. On increasing the frequency, omega L will increase, due to which Z will increase and current will decrease. So this is wrong option. As frequency increases, inductive reactance XL increases, which increases the overall impedance of the circuit. This results in decrease in the current, contrary to the condition given in the question. So option C and D are correct. So next question, electrical energy is transmitted over large distances at high alternating voltages. Which of the following statement are correct? This thing we have discussed in the transformer also. So electrical energy is transmitted over long distances at a very high alternating voltages. What is the reason? We have discussed. So option R, for a given power level, there is a lower current. Or B option, lower current implies less power loss. C option, transmission lines can be made thinner. Or D option, it is easier to reduce the voltage at the receiving end using step down transformers. So which options are correct? So I will give you some time to think about it. So options A, B, and D are correct. Okay, only C option is not correct. So what is the thinking process for this question? Power loss due to transmission lines having resistance R and RMS current flowing RMS is given by IRMS square R. We have to transmit energy over long distances at high alternating voltages. So current flowing through the wires will be low because of power P. Okay, if we are increasing the voltage for transmitting power or electrical energy over long distances, we increase the voltage to minimize the power loss. Okay, so low current is flowing through the wires, and also low current implies lower power loss. Okay, so P is equal to IRMS VRMS. So for a given power, to keep VRMS high, so if we are keeping the VRMS high, due to which IRMS is kept lower. So for option A, for a given power level, there is a lower current is correct. So A option is correct. For a given power level, if we want same power, so a instrument or a component which is operating on power P, okay, so we need to transmit the same power. So we are going to transmit the power so that average power loss across the transmission lines should be minimized, due to which we have to increase the voltage and decrease the current. So for a given power level, there is a lower current. This option is correct. Now, since transmission power is given by IRMS square R, lower current will imply lower power loss. Okay, why we are lowering the current in the transmission lines? To minimize the power loss. So B option is also correct. Now at receiving end high voltage is reduced. So voltage is or electrical energy is transmitted over long distances at high voltages like 11,000 voltage, 11,000 volt, okay, or 1100 volt. So that amount of voltage is dangerous. But in our homes, we are using a very safe voltage range, which is 220 volt or 240 volt. Okay, so we have to step down the voltage. So at receiving end, high voltages is reduced by the step down transformers. That's why D option is also correct and B option is also correct. So option B, lower current implies less power loss, is correct. Okay, also D option is correct. So C option is transmission lines can be made thinner. This is incorrect. Why? Because if we are making transmission line thinner, area of cross section is decreasing. Resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. If area of cross section is decreasing, resistance will increase, due to which power loss will increase. Power loss is equal to IRMS square R. So resistance of the wire is inversely proportional to cross sectional area A of the wire. So reducing the cross sectional area will increase power loss in the transmission lines given by IRMS square R. Okay, so if R is increasing, power loss will increase. So D option, it is easy to reduce the voltage at receiving end using step down transformer. This is correct because we have discussed about it. With the help of transformers, we can either step up or step down given voltage. If the secondary coil has a greater number of turns than the primary coil, NS is greater than NP, the voltage is stepped up. That means VS is greater than VP. If the secondary coil has less turns than the primary coil, that is NS less than NP, then we have step down transformer. So next question, the line that draws power supply to our homes from street has zero average power, 220 volt average voltage, voltage and current out of phase by 90 degree, or voltage and current possibly differing in phase phi such that phi is less than pi by 2. Okay, so let's see the solution. So option A and D is correct. For household supplies, generally AC circuit is sinusoidal. This sinusoidal function has zero average value over a complete cycle. Okay, so option A, zero average current, is correct because we are using AC current in our homes. So that is, AC current is the sinusoidal function. That's why average current over a complete cycle is zero. So option A is correct. The line is having same resistance, so power factor cos phi is equal to R upon Z, which is not equal to 0. So it has some resistance, transmission line, that is supplying power to our house from the street. So it has some resistance, due to which cos phi equal to R by Z is not equal to 0. Therefore, phi is not equal to pi by 2. If cos phi is 0, that's why, due to which phi will become equal to pi by 2. Since cos phi is not equal to 0, that means phi is not equal to pi by 2. And also the phase difference lies between 0 and pi by 2. So phi is less than pi by 2. Okay, so option D, voltage and current possibly differing in phase phi such that phi is less than pi by 2, is also correct. Okay, so phi, cos phi is not equal to 0, phi is not equal to pi by 2. Okay, so phase difference is lying between 0 and pi by 2. That's why phi average mod of phi will be less than pi by 2, is also correct option. Why option B and C are incorrect? So B option was 220 volt average voltage. So this is not average voltage. This is the RMS value of voltage, 220 voltage. Okay, that's why it is wrong. So RMS value 220 volt is a measure of the effective voltage, not the average voltage over a cycle. C option was voltage and current out of phase by 90 degree. This is incorrect also. Why? In a typical household power supply, the voltage and current are not out of phase by 90 degree. Why? Because if they were, it would imply a purely reactive load. That is, either inductor is connected or purely capacitor. Either we are using inductive circuit purely or purely capacitive circuit. But the components we are using in our homes are not purely inductive or not purely capacitive, or in between also resistive components are there. Due to which phase difference is not pi by 2 exactly. It is less than pi by 2, which is not the case for household appliances that have both resistive and reactive components. Okay, in our television, there are capacitors also. Okay, there are resistors also. Means resistive components are also there. Resistance is also there. Capacitance, some capacitor components are also there. Okay, inductive components are also there. So it is not purely inductive or capacitive circuit, due to which phase difference is not 90 degree purely. Okay, next question, draw the effective equivalent circuit of the circuit shown in figure at very high frequencies and find the effective impedance. So in this circuit, you have to find the effective impedance at very high frequencies near to infinity. Okay, so let's see the solution. So what is the thinking process for this question? The component with infinite resistance will be considered as open circuit and the component with zero resistance will be considered as short circuit. Okay. If component is having no resistance, means it is not offering any opposition to the flow of current, it will be taken as short circuit. And if the component is offering infinite resistance to the flow of current, it will be taken as open circuit. Okay, so inductive reactance is given by XL equal to 2 pi nu L and capacitive reactance is given by X equal to 1 by 2 pi nu C. So if frequency is very high, that means XL is very high and XC is very, very low. Okay, for high frequencies, nu tending to infinity, very high. So XL will tends to infinity and XC will tends to 0. Okay, so at very high frequencies, C1 and C2, capacitive reactance is tending to 0. Means no opposition is offered to the flow of current. So C1, C2 will be shorted. They will be considered as short circuits. Okay, means a single wire having no resistance or having negligible resistance. Okay, also L1, L2, both these inductors are offering infinite opposition to the flow of current. So they are taken as open circuits. Okay, so equivalent circuit can be shown like that. So inductors are offering infinite opposition, means no current will flow through it. So it will be taken as open circuit and capacitor will be taken as short circuit, means by single wire. They are can be considered as connecting wire having no or negligible resistance. So equivalent circuit is like that. So it will be considered as no current will be flowing through R2. Only current is flowing through R1 and R3. So R1 and R3 are in series. So effective impedance will be taken as R equivalent, which is equal to R1 plus R3. Okay. So this is all about today's lecture. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.